Hi everyone, my name is Tori, this is Novel Life, and welcome back to my channel, and welcome to a really exciting announcement that I am so excited for. As you can tell from the title, I'm hosting a historical fiction readathon that is happening September 16th through September 22nd. Now, I'm co-hosting this with Christi from Christi Reads a Lot. We have a book club where we primarily read historical fiction, but for the month of September, we picked kind of like a cozy little fantasy, and we ended our live show for August thinking, wow, I just have all these historical fiction books that I really want to read. Why don't we do a readathon? So we are doing a readathon. So this is gonna primarily happen over on Instagram. We have a whole set of Instagram templates that you should be able to see already. I will have them as highlights. I'm pretty sure Christi will have them as a highlight on her Instagram as well. But I'm so excited. We have so many different prompts. Historical fiction really encompasses a lot of different subgenres and everything like that. So we tried to make prompts that were vague, but also still very specific. So like I said, this readathon will be from September 16th through September 22nd. So with this readathon, we decided to pick a group book, and I'm very excited for the one that we picked, and that is The Rose Code by Kate Quinn. So we did read a Kate Quinn book for our August pick, which was The Briar Club, and we were going back and forth between this one and the Alice Network. So many people, every time I mention a historical fiction book, people tell me that I need to read this book. So I'm very excited that this is going to be our group book. This will count for a lot of different things, but it's set in the 1940s, and it has a little bit of mystery to it as well. So I think this also could count for a historical mystery, but I am very, very, very excited to read this one. It is a bit longer, but the audiobook is available wide on most libraries, and the ebook is also available on most libraries. So if you have Hoopla or Libby, it should be available there, but they also have this on Audible and on Kindle if you want to buy it. I'm so excited for the group book, but for the other prompts that we have, we didn't really do a bingo board. We kind of just did like a checklist. So it's really like check as many as you can off, because I feel like with a bingo board sometimes it can have like a lot of pressure, but if you check all of them off, fantastic, great, good for you. Come to the live show and we may have something for you. So the prompts are: read the group book, read a host book rec, which we do have 2 Instagram templates. I have my recommendations and Christi's recommendations, which is just 4 recommendations, but I will have some more recommendations in this video later. Read a historical fiction set in the country you live in, read a historical mystery, read a historical set in a different country than you live in, read a historical romance, read a historical set in a new to you historical time period, which for me, that's actually going to be hard to hit because I feel like I've read a lot in a lot of different time periods, and read a historical fantasy. So we will be having some reading sprints both on my and Christi's channel. So on my YouTube channel, I will be having reading sprints on September 16th to kind of kick off the readathon at 8 p.m. EST. So that is in Pacific Standard Time, it's 5 p.m. And then Christi will have some on her channel on September 19th, kind of right in the middle of the readathon at 8 p.m. EST on Christi's channel. So we will be having a live show on my channel, which will be to end the readathon on Sunday, September 22nd at 6 p.m. on my channel. So I'll be joined by Christi. I'll be on hers for sprints. She'll be on my channel for sprints. So I hope you can join us for some of those. I hope I pick times that are well. We might throw in one maybe Saturday. I don't know. It depends on how we feel and how busy things are. But we have a TBR graphic that you can add all of your books that you have on your TBR. We have a currently reading graphic. We have a book review graphic where you can put the book number, the rating, the type of historical, so like prompt or whatever, and then your notes. We also have a wrap-up template where you can put at the end on Sunday, wrap up all of your books that you read and pick your favorite of the readathon. So I really hope you join us. I'm actually so freaking excited for this readathon. Like, I haven't even put my TBR together yet because I really just want to pick books off of my shelf. I have 2 historical fiction shelves, like here and then one right behind me, where I have so many historical fiction books that I just want to read. So I want to see which ones have audiobooks, because I usually get through audiobooks quicker. So I want to be very strategic in the books that I pick, but also pick like a wide range of different historical fiction books. So I'm gonna get into some recommendations for you just really quickly, and these all kind of fit different prompts. So the first one is by Rita Sepetys, and it is Between Shades of Grey. So this book actually starts in Lithuania and goes to Siberia. So this is a very different time. So this book takes place during the 1940s, 1950s and stuff like that. So Lithuania, Siberia, definitely a place I don't live. I don't know if I'll ever be able to visit those countries, but I think it's cool to kind of read about this time period and how the Soviet Union kind of took people from their homes and put them into labor camps throughout Siberia. So this is definitely one that's very interesting. It made me cry, so be prepared, but I love Ruta Sepetys. A lot of her books are really good, but this is one of my favorites by her. The next one I have is by Chanel Clayton, and that is Next Year in Havana. On my Instagram template, I chose The Last Train to Key West. I read both of these and I love them so much. So Chanel Clayton writes a lot of books that are set in Cuba and about the Cuban Revolution, which is very interesting to me. My husband his family is Cuban, so I always love to read about history in that sense. So this one is set during 1930s and this one is set during the 1950s in a historical time, and this one has a dual POV of 2017, so like now time, quote unquote. So I think both of them are dual POVs, but I really love both of these just because of how she tells the story. It's a lot about the Cuban Revolution, a lot about the people in power during that time, during these two different time periods and how different they are, but also still really the same. And also, like in this book, Next Year in Havana, it's more so like a parallel of then and now, but still how it is still similar with the people in power. So I love both of these. I love Chanel Clayton. She is definitely a well-beloved historical fiction author for me, and yeah, I love her books. I think I have one or two to catch up. The next author I want to talk about is Amy Harmon. So I've read a couple of books by Amy Harmon. So What the Wind Knows by Amy Harmon and From Sand and Ash. So these take place at two different time periods. So this book actually takes place during the Irish Revolution. It's kind of like has a little bit of a not paranormal, like a fantastical aspect with time travel, just a little bit. And I actually found that interesting that she goes to visit her grandfather in now time in Ireland, and when she goes, she kind of like is transported back during the Irish Revolution and like a very specific time during that and what's happening. And I loved this book. I stopped while reading this book, but you have to read to the very last page. I just hold on to the very last page for this book, but it's literally, this one is one of my all-time favorites. And then this book, From Sand and Ash, actually takes place in Nazi-occupied Italy in 1943. And so this one's actually interesting because our hero, the main male character that we're following, he's actually a Catholic priest, and you see how him and his family friend or someone he's grown up with is not Catholic. They are Jewish, and you see how he and the Catholic Church actually tries to hide and help people during the Nazi takeover of Italy. So it is very interesting. Also bawled my eyes out reading this one, but I love this one. It is very powerful. Once again, Amy Harmon is another like well-beloved historical fiction author. I love a lot of her works, and yeah, I love those two so much. Another one I want to recommend that I talked about quite a bit is The Flight Girls by Noelle Salazar. I love her writing. I have Angels of Resistance by her on my shelf that I'll definitely be picking up during the readathon, but this one takes place, it starts in Pearl Harbor during the 1950s. You see our female character that we're following, one of our female characters that we're following, it starts in 1940s in Pearl Harbor and what happens in Pearl Harbor when the Japanese bomb Pearl Harbor. But this really focuses on the WASP program of women in the military who kind of learn to pilot and, you know, do all those things, and you see that they're not really such a huge part of history as they should be, but this tells that story and I love it. There is a little bit of a romance subplot in here that I absolutely love, but Noelle Salazar I've only read one book by her, but I fell in love with her writing when I read this book, so definitely want to pick up more by her. But if you want a good kind of like women-centric book, definitely pick up this one. The next one I have is The Women by Kristen Hanna. This is one of my favorite books of this year. It came out this year. I picked it up. I completely fell in love with it. I have been telling every single one of my friends to read this book because I love it so much. It follows one woman during the Vietnam War and what she goes through and how she wants to help, and she becomes a triage nurse and she goes over there, and everything that they've been telling the American people is kind of a lie. It's kind of a lie. And it's just her journey over the next like 8 years of her life and how she struggled with going and coming home and suffering from PTSD and not getting help and everything that comes with that. So I love this so much. Literally one of my all-time favorite books, but this is one by Kristen Hanna I absolutely love. Absolutely love. I definitely want to read more by her during the readathon, so I'll definitely be picking up The Great Alone, The Nightingale, one of those, all of the above. But I will be having a vlog go up on my channel after the readathon is over, where I read historical fiction books for a week. So I'll be talking about my TBR and then reading those books in that in that video coming later in September, obviously, but I really hope that you can join us for this historical fiction readathon, whether you read one book or you read 5 throughout the week. It doesn't matter. I hope you join us over on Instagram. Give Christy a subscribe if you don't follow her on YouTube, and go follow her on Instagram if you don't already. But for the emoji, drop me a, what kind of emoji? Like a writing emoji? That's like an old style pin, or like a clock for a historical time period, all of the above. Make sure you also follow us on Instagram. I'll definitely be more active during the readathon over there, but we will also be hosting some reading sprints, so I hope you join us for that and our live show. But thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you can join. Make sure you like and subscribe for more content for me. As always, I hope you're living a novel life, and I will see you in my next one. Bye guys!